All right, can you see me and hear me now? Can you hear me now? All right, Arnell says he can see and hear me. I don't know what was wrong with that other window, but here we are. So, welcome everybody. Happy Magical Monday. I'm going to invite you to just take a big breath with me. And if you're logging on for the replay, just breathe with me right now as well. So, I need to pull myself back here and anchor myself. So, anchor yourself with me. Let's just take our hands and place them on our jumper, place our jumper cables on our heart chakra and just breathe in to our beingness. Breathe into your body. Excuse me. Imagine that gold light in your chest cavity if you can, and just feel the intelligence of your soul right there, right now. And then just relax all the muscles in your face, soften your shoulders, relax your jaw, relax your tongue, relax your throat. And in whatever way makes sense to you, just intentionally open your heart and open your mind a little bit more and really come to the moment, expecting to receive, expecting to connect, not just with me, not just to the message and the medicine, but to each other and to the moment and to whatever it is that your inner guidance is ready to activate and reveal in you right now. We're 22 weeks into 52 weeks of Magical Mondays in 2026. We're heading into the last month of the first half of the year, and things are moving energetically. So just be here right now, whatever that means for you. And go ahead and open your eyes if you haven't already, and I'm going to just jump right in. So on Saturday, for real, I said this last week, but for real on Saturday, you received your 1 week reminder for Soul Work Sanctuary, and you got your channeled message from the elders for June. And there were two messages in that, and it was explained in the email. And I hope you've had a chance to spend a little time with those two messages. And because there's so much in both of those, I really was struggling. Where am I going to start on this June 1st day, on the first Magical Monday of this month, where we've had just 2 days with the message? And, the first message was talking all about oneness, like it has been, and all about stillness. And it was talking about reconnecting with the deeper parts of ourselves, our I am presence that's been getting stronger. And I just had this overwhelming sense of the collective, which would mean all of us, and it would mean you. These messages are so beautiful and they're so powerful, and what I feel in my body when I receive them is so stabilizing and fortifying and peace producing. But the message is, when juxtaposed with what we're looking at outside, I could just feel the heaviness this week of the world. Like just the fear. What about the wars? What about the suffering? What about the fear? What about all these predictions of economic collapse and shortages and instability and uncertainty that we just keep seeing escalating on the world stage right in front of our very eyes, right? And the question, as sincere as the seekers might be, as sincere as you might be, there's the question can't help but come up. How are we supposed to feel safe when so many things around us seem so incredibly unstable? And it's weird because I have these thoughts and I have these feelings, and at the same time as I'm receiving the messages to transmit them and share them with you, I feel this undeniable peace. But for some reason, when I received the message for June, I just felt like I'm going to ask them, how do we deal with this? And I've never done that before. I've never asked the elders a question about their message, and what they gave us came back and is the second PDF in the email that normally just has one message. And honestly, their answer helped me understand something important about the month of May and the energies. Because remember, excuse me, May was all about triggers. The elders told us they were coming. And for many of us, they did. Some were small, some were huge. But if you paid attention, May revealed things on a deeper level because, according to the message last month, the light inside of us is getting brighter. So it revealed what was already there on the next level, that we were able to see it and interact with it from the wisdom of this brighter light getting brighter inside of us, which is just another way to say the stronger bandwidth of your I am soul you got even stronger in the same body that the third dimensional you has been living all of your life, which is just another way of saying the one source, the one pure source ocean, the infinite ocean of the one consciousness that I've been saying for the last year. The ocean is opening the drop that believes it's separate. In May, the ocean just opened the drops of us even wider back into itself just a little bit more. So these energies of May, through the triggers, revealed fears, revealed wounds, revealed old emotional reactions, revealed old survival patterns, all things that were already there. It revealed places where we still get activated. And these triggers happened in May, so the energetic imprints in our personal frequency field could be dissipated and removed. That was the purpose. And if we were paying attention, we could interact with this gift in a very intentional way. When the triggers are happening, somebody pisses you off, it's easy for us to assume that the story of the trigger was the important thing. Like we have to fix this thing that's pissing us off. And that wasn't it. And when the June message came in, I realized that the triggers that came forward as the light got brighter is pointing us towards something even deeper as we move through June and we move into the second half of the year. And what the June message and what that thing is that's being revealed through June is what the June message called a signal. The signal inside of us that we inherited when we incarnated. Stay with me, this is important. And we've been being trained for years with these messages. Everything is built one message upon the other, one experience upon the other, one window of energetic movement upon the other. And we inherited the signal when we were incarnated. The signal that we inherited is always broadcasting from within. You are not safe. You need to worry. You need to stay vigilant. You need to stay on guard. You need to prepare for the worst. Something bad is about to happen. And what stuck with me in the June transmission is all of humanity has been listening to that signal for as long as we've ever lived human lives. We don't know anything else. So we don't recognize it as a signal. We don't recognize it as a radio station we've been tuned to. We think it's reality. We think that's what human life is about. We think It's wisdom. We think that's just how life works. We think it's smart and intelligent to live in this perpetual state of fear and vigilance that's worn our nervous system down over and over and over again. This is important because we think that that's just how life works, but what if it isn't? What if much of what we call normal is actually inherited bullshit? Bullshit conditioning that locked us to a radio station that we've never been able to change as a species until right now. What if we just over and over again inherited this fear signal from our parents, who inherited it from theirs, who inherited it from theirs? And what if it just keeps broadcasting, ping-ponging off of each other through our family systems, through religion, through education, through media, through government, through institutions, through everything we just think is frickin' normal, to keep humans as a species locked and loaded to the fear cycle of perpetual destruction? What if the reason all of these triggers that came through the May energies is because we're finally being shown that the signal is still running inside of us, because that signal can't go to the higher frequencies through ascension? What if the triggers are the final training ground? Because what it means is the trigger's not the enemy. What it means is, so we already know from everything we've been told, we already know that the systems are going to collapse, dismantle, and come down. And from that, we can anticipate we're all going to be triggered even more than we are right now, as we're watching this slow boil reach the fever pitch insanity presentation of the human condition that we all just inherited through this signal. So we're being trained right now to understand on a deeper level, the trigger is information. That was in May's message. And if we paid attention, we could interact with that information on a deeper level as the light is getting brighter inside us. This is important because that brings me back to the second June message. Excuse me. Pardon me. So the question I asked the elders was basically this: how do we trust? How do we surrender in the midst of these frickin' triggers? How do we move into this oneness with Source, your I am signal getting stronger when the world looks batshit crazy? Because that's what we're being offered. And their answer was surprisingly practical. That if you go back and read it, excuse me, they didn't tell us to ignore what's happening. They didn't tell us to pretend everything is fine. They didn't tell us to stick our heads in the sand. What they pointed to was something super simple, or much simpler. I'll just say it that way. There's a difference between being aware of what's happening and being consumed by it. As the world continues to get even crazier, we're going to need solid, practical ways to interact. The spiritual path is becoming much more practical. There's a difference. I just lost my train of thought. Came back. There's a difference between paying attention and understanding what's going on, and living in a perpetual state of internal emergency. I'm going to say that again. There's a difference between seeing the chaos outside of you and being activated into the fear response and living in this perpetual internal chaos at the same time the outer chaos is happening. There's a difference between that and interacting as necessary, whatever the external chaos does require of us, and it will require change. There's a difference between standing in resistance to that and fear of that and understanding it's triggering the signal within us that's saying, okay, this other signal wants to shift inside of us now so we can interact with the dismantling from this brighter light, this higher intelligence, so we can disengage fully from the signal. It's never happened as a species on the planet before. So, I've been telling you, as we move into the second half of the year, things are going to get a little bit more chaotic. And we're moving into that period now. And many of the systems that humanity has depended on to give us our certainty, they're going to continue to change. The governments are going to change, economics are going to change, media is going to change, institutions are going to change, supply chains are going to change, social systems, all the things that we were trained into believing that those are the only places where we can look for stability and safety are going to change. And those things never delivered what they promised. Never. Never. Think about that. None of the things we have been told to trust for stability and safety ever provided it. And the facade is melting away. So, as we're watching that externally, the signal we're tuned to that's trained to respond to outer chaos of things that we were trained are supposed to make us feel stable and secure, that signal's going to go off. See, you're not safe. See, you should panic. See, you should really be afraid. And that signal, the call is coming from inside the house. I'll say it that way. We think it's coming from out there. It's coming from inside because we were tuned to it and programmed into it because we never had the option to turn the radio dial to another frequency. And now we do. And the process of that is going to reveal itself from the outer chaos. And this is what we've been training our spiritual muscles for. This is not the time to get panicked. This is not the time to fight it and resist it or suppress it. It's the time to recognize it, seize the moment, grab the information, and tune the dial as the ocean is opening the drop through the brighter light into this awareness. Your intelligence from your eternal soul who said, send me for this moment, can come online. And we're at a turning point. That's how I'll say it. Since I started channeling back in 2017, we have been being prepared. So when we got here to June 2026, we would know. Know what? Everything we've been looking at this year. How to pause before reacting. How to breathe before spiraling. How to come back into our bodies and be in the stillness of the intelligence of the ocean who is never going to stop opening the soul into itself for this moment. Feel that. I really want you to feel that. We've been learning how to distinguish between what's actually happening, right? Excuse me. We've been being trained so we can distinguish between what's actually happening right now and what fear is predicting should happen. Everything outside of us is going to try to convince us to panic and freak out. June, built upon the energies of May, June is about how to hear the different signal that's already stronger inside of you. The signal that is coming on inside of us from our upgraded heart chakra, from the new command center we've been being told about as long as we've been receiving these channeled messages. And that's why we've had so much clearing happening in May. So there's space to receive the new signal that you can turn the dial to on an even stronger bandwidth. And here's the thing. When you first tune to the dial, or when you first tune the dial to the new radio station, to this signal that is the signal of your soul that's coming online because your dormant DNA is being activated by the stronger signal of Source itself, inside it's a quieter signal. It's quieter, but it's steadier. It's stronger. It is the signal that says, from a higher intelligence, take this next step. Trust yourself. Stay present. Breathe. Pay attention. Don't spiral. Don't abandon the signal. Don't abandon the I am presence that's coming online. It moving into the same body we've been living our 3D versions of ourselves. It's getting stronger. So May helped us see the trigger, and June is going to help us see the signal underneath the trigger. So what does that mean? It means that we can expect more triggers. We can expect more things outside of us to activate an awareness of our fear and our old patterns that are showing up with a brighter light, so we can interact with them from a much stronger, less fearful place. So let me ask you a question. Where were you triggered? What showed up in May in you that you got some aha moments around? What is it for you? And if you didn't get any, I'm going to just say, pay attention a little stronger. Just pay attention a little more. Triggers don't have to be huge events. They can just be waking up in the morning and feeling a dread. But if you're so used to waking up every morning feeling the dread and you don't question it, you can't get the wisdom from the brighter light. So if it's subtle, like waking up in the morning and you just feel this dread, pause. Say, oh shit, I'm feeling a dread. Let me sit. Let me turn the dial. Let me breathe. Let me connect with that higher version of myself. And let me just ask, what is this? What am I feeling? Why am I feeling that? What am I ready to understand about this and how it affects me that I wasn't until I paused in this moment and paid attention? Not everything shows up with somebody sending you a text that accuses you of something, or a lover who says something to you that just seemed insensitive and got you all upset. These triggers are moving in a lot of different ways. So I've gone a little long today because I want to give you a challenge. I want to give you a challenge. If you haven't, read the 2 messages. And then I'm going to invite you to sit with the special transmission answering the question a little bit longer. It answers this fear. It answers this building. We've been in a slow boil escalating to the fever pitch insanity presentation of the human condition, and it's almost at boiling point. You can see it everywhere. But we're not alone. We're receiving this medicine. We're receiving this information. We're continuing to receive this support so we can anchor into this signal that's coming online to help us navigate with surprise and amaze, ease and flow. It doesn't mean without challenge. Everybody's going to be challenged. We're already challenged, and those challenges may morph in their form. But what's important is we all said yes to being here right now for this unprecedented moment of these two signals. One we were embedded with, and we got our hard drive overridden with software that we now have the ability to clear and return to the original hardware and software of Source Creator. And we're doing it as a species, and we're doing it together in this small little tribe. So if you haven't taken the medicine, take the medicine. Sit with it. Feel the peace that is underneath all the external chaos. It's there. We've been being prepared to be the calm in the eye of the storm. And we got two messages as we're making our way through the last month of the first half. And we've been told the second half might get a little bit more tumultuous. We're strong. We've been being fortified. We've been being supported. We're not going to be abandoned. The light is going to continue to get brighter, but it's a choice. Doesn't matter how much information we get. That's important. The information is not enough to create transformation. Knowledge doesn't create the dismantling of these imprints. It's interacting with awareness and intention and surrender to the process that we're being offered. And I have a feeling we're going to start being offered even more. And that's why we got these two messages. Take the medicine. I feel it's so interesting. I feel the weight of the intensity of the collective, but I know the intensity with which I'm feeling all this weight is not all mine. And at the same time, my own weight it's there. I'm living this right along with everybody else, but under that, this fortifying, stronger signal of our dormant DNA allowing us to fully connect with the signal of Source, our eternal being, it's I can sense it. I can't put words to it, but it's powerful, and it's not just for me. It's for the entire species. And we're doing this together. It's for you. Sit with it. Breathe into it. Watch for the triggers, seek the information, and just pause and breathe and allow. And watch that ease and flow, surprise and amaze show up stronger and stronger. That's where I'm going to leave you today. I love you tons. Enjoy your week, and I will see you, for those of you who are in Soulwork Sanctuary, I'll see you on Saturday, and if not, I'll see you next Monday. All right, bye for now.